Not every interview stays normal. Sometimes a small argument turns into a full-blown fight live, on camera. Here are 17 interviews that started normal and ended in unexpected fight. Let's kick off with Shaker Al-Jawhari and Sami Kreis. Shaker Al-Jawhari versus Sami Kreis. In July 2014, a live political debate aired on a Jordanian satellite channel. The guests were journalist Shaker Al-Jawhari and lawyer activist Sami Kreis. The discussion focused on sensitive topics like the Syrian civil war and the crisis in Gaza. Suddenly, things got heated as Kreis expressed his views. Al-Jawhari suddenly lost his temper. Without warning, he picked up a water bottle and threw it directly at Kreis. Then Al-Jawhari got up, walked across the set, grabbed a chair, and attempted to strike Kreis with it. The host tried to intervene, but it wasn't enough. Thankfully, a crew member stepped in just in time and managed to calm Al-Jawhari before the situation got out of control. Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. Before their rematch, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier came together for a TV interview. At first, it looked normal. Ali was joking around like always, calling Frazier names and reminding him of their past fight.
You just got too many white followers. They don't like it for that. They figure you must be a good boy.
Frazier stayed quiet for a bit, but his expressions were showing something else. Then suddenly, Frazier stood up, ripped off his mic, and went straight at Ali.
Sit down, Joe.
Why you think I'm equal?
Sit down, Joe.
Huh?
Sit down quick.
Why you think I'm equal?
The brothers are here.
Ali didn't back down. Within seconds, both of them were fighting on the studio floor while the staff ran in to pull them apart. Kaufman versus Lawler. Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler came on Late Night with David Letterman. During interview, Andy said wrestling was just acting and demanded an apology. But Lawler wasn't having it. He said Andy disrespected wrestling and got what he deserved. Kaufman fired back, saying he could have taken legal action, but didn't, because he just wanted an apology. But things didn't calm down. They got worse. At last, Lawler lost patience and slapped Kaufman right in front of everyone.
Get the hoses out here.
Andy didn't stay quiet. He grabbed his coffee and threw it at Lawler. Then he stormed off the set, yelling, while the whole studio sat in silence. Alexander Lebedev versus Sergei Polonsky. In 2011, Russian billionaire Alexander Lebedev, a former KGB agent, appeared on a talk show with businessman Sergei Polonsky. They intended to be discussing the economy, but things got tense real fast. Out of nowhere, Lebedev stood up and threw 2 punches, knocking Polonsky right off his chair.
Lashing out, he knocks Polonsky to the ground.
The audience was completely shocked as they didn't accept this at all. Lebedev later explained that he reacted because he felt threatened by Polonsky and wanted to stop the situation before it got worse. However, the authorities didn't accept that reasoning. He was charged with politically motivated hooliganism, which carried a possible sentence of up to 5 years in prison. Looking back, Lebedev admitted in an interview that he may have overreacted. He said he wasn't trying to cause trouble and described himself as a normally calm person, but his actions on camera told a different story. Al Sharpton versus Roy Innis. In the late 80s, Al Sharpton and Roy Innis were 2 powerful voices in the civil rights movement. But even though they fought for the same community, they stood on very different political sides. Sharpton leaned liberal, while Innis held strong conservative views. Their long-standing differences came to a head in 1988 on the Morton Downey Jr. show. Sharpton started off by calling out Innis for some of his more controversial views, which instantly raised the tension in the room.
Mr. Innis went from a man who would challenge a Bob Abrams to a man who would curtail and kowtow.
As Innis tried to speak up and defend himself, Sharpton kept cutting in, and that's when things turned physical. Innis suddenly snapped and shoved Sharpton to the ground. People on the set quickly rushed in, trying to break things up. Later, Morton Downey Jr. stepped in and tried to calm everyone down. Shaker Al-Jawhari versus Muhammad Al-Jayusi. During a live broadcast on 7 Stars TV, 2 Jordanian guests, journalist Shaker Al-Jawhari and political analyst Muhammad Al-Jayusi, sat down to discuss the Syrian conflict. The discussion quickly got out of hand. Both sides were talking over each other, and it didn't take long before things went from bad to worse. Before anyone could step in, the shouting turned into pushing. Both men leaned across the table, grabbing at each other as the argument turned physical. The host and crew rushed in to break it up, but not before the table nearly flipped over during the struggle. Jim Rome and Jim Everett. Back in 1994, former NFL quarterback Jim Everett appeared on Talk 2, a sports show hosted by Jim Rome. But things were already off to a bad start. Rome had been making fun of Everett for a while by comparing him to a famous female tennis player, which was his way of saying Everett wasn't tough enough. But Everett wasn't having it. Right at the start of the interview, he told Rome not to say it again.
Did it twice.
You can call it one more time. We better take a station break.
Well, it's a 5-minute segment.
But Rome pushed his luck and repeated it anyway. That's when Everett snapped. He jumped up, knocked the table over, and shoved Rome straight off his chair. After the fight, Rome said he was wrong and tried to say sorry. He reached out to Everett a few times, hoping they could move on. But Everett didn't accept it and wanted nothing to do with him.
Unfortunate incident. That was New Orleans Saints quarterback Jim Everett. But I've got to say, the fact of the matter is...
Burt Reynolds versus Mark Summers. In 1994, Burt Reynolds was going through a rough time. He was in the middle of a messy divorce and came on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
What was the idea behind that? I saw the clip and I didn't see that episode.
From the beginning, things fell off. Leno made a few jokes about Burt's personal life, and you could see he wasn't happy.
I just say that because your back is to me, and I was just talking to a back.
No, I can talk to you too, Bert.
Thank you.
Then Mark Summers came on. He was known for hosting a fun kids game show, but during the interview, he brought up how good his marriage was. Whether it was on purpose or not, it didn't sit well with Burt, and things went downhill fast.
No, I was just wondering who told you that, because...
My wife tells me that often.
She says, good morning.
I'm still married, as a matter of fact.
Burt suddenly picked up his mug and poured his drink into Mark's lap. Mark tried to splash him back, but Burt quickly slapped his hand away. And just when it seemed like it might settle down, it got even messier because they ended up throwing pies at each other right there on the set.
1, 2, 3.
16-shot M versus Flacco. Meanwhile, this next fight came from a much smaller set, but the tension felt just as big. This one happened on the No Jumper podcast, and it went left quick point. 16-shot M was there for an interview with Flacco. At first, it was just talking, but you could tell 16 was already mad. He didn't like that Flacco was cool with bandman Cavo, someone 16 had major beef with.
Bro, you nervous. You saying who? We talking about one person. No. You trying to think. No.
Flacco tried to explain himself, saying he was just trying to clear things up. But 16 wasn't trying to hear it. He felt like Flacco was fake and picking sides.
I don't care for that, right? I'm just saying,
You just said
right?
that's what you brought him on for.
No, you stated though, right?
Things got louder, and 16 started calling Flacco names, saying he was a clout chaser and not keeping it real. He also brought up some personal stuff, like Kivo leaking his info and messing with him online.
You said, what's the clout chasing ass 16? Yes.
Then out of nowhere, 16 leaned over and spit on Flacco in frustration, and then both of them started fighting in seconds.
Hey, no.
Cardi B vs. Asia. On the same note, before the Grammy wins and sold-out shows, Cardi B was known for keeping it real on Love and Hip Hop, New York. And in this reunion episode, she didn't hold back. The drama kicked off when Asia Davies, who was dating Swift at the time, showed up for the reunion. There had been rumors that Swift and Cardi were getting a little too close, and the tension between Cardi and Asia had been bubbling for a while.
Yeah, when you had a problem with me.
Okay, I had a problem.
When you had a problem with me.
I had a problem with
During the show, Asia was asked what her issue was with Cardi. She stayed quiet at first, but it was clear something was bothering her. Cardi wasn't having it. She brought up the messages Asia had sent to Swift, accusing her of talking about her behind her back. Then out of nowhere, Cardi took off her shoe and threw it straight at Asia.
What happened?
Fasir Ghibli versus Cole Nicola. As Cardi B's reunion drama might have started with a shoe, but this next one was all about slaps on a reality TV. In 2018, Fasir Ghibli, the head of Albania's miners' union, sat down for a TV interview with Cole Nicola. The goal was to discuss workers' rights, but things quickly went sideways. After arguing for a bit, Ghibli got up, walked over, and slapped Nicola across the face. Nicola didn't just sit there. He blocked the next swings and stood up to fight back. The host was paused for a second, unsure what to do, then quickly stepped in to stop it. Geraldo Skinhead Brawl. Next, back in 1988, the Geraldo Rivera Show brought together one of its most intense panels ever. White supremacists, black civil rights leaders, and Jewish activists. They were talking about some really serious stuff, but tension were going to increase already there.
And I really recommend that you don't push me too hard.
Oh, come on, sir.
Things reached ATB peak point when one of the white supremacist guests hurled a racist insult at Roy Innis, head of the Congress of Racial Equality. Innis didn't stay in his seat. He walked across the stage and grabbed the man by the neck. As soon as Roy grabbed him, everything exploded. People from the crowd ran up on the spot. Then in the middle of all that, Geraldo caught a chair to the face. His nose was busted, bleeding, but he didn't leave. He just kept the show going like nothing happened. Grayson Walker. Up next, Grayson Waller was on Sunrise for a light segment about wrestling. One of the hosts joked about him showing a move and suggested the floor manager step in. But Waller didn't like that at all. He stood up and warned them he wasn't going to fake anything, as he'd throw a real punch if pushed.
I don't think you understand. Like, if I come over there right now, we're going to have the police here because I'm not going to give you some fake punch. Like, I'm going to punch you straight in the jaw.
The floor manager tried to ignore it off, but Waller wasn't done. He called him out, saying he felt disrespected, and told him to stop acting tough. Things got tense. But the host asked the manager to leave and wrapped up the segment quickly before it got worse.
Hey, you take that trash talk and you get out of here. Hey, you get out of here. You take that trash talk and you get out. I won't have...
David Schultz. Last time, things got tense over a joke. But this time, it was just one sentence that turned an interview into fight. In 1984, reporter John Stossel interviewed wrestler David Schultz. During the interview, Stossel said he thought wrestling was fake.
I'll ask you the standard question. You know? Standard question. I think this is fake.
Schultz didn't say much, just slapped him, then slapped him again. Stossel was clearly shocked and couldn't able to believe that what happened, and later said the hits caused lasting damage to his ears.
You think it's fake? What's that? Is that fake?
Vader. After David Schultz lost his cool over a question, this time it was Vader who didn't hold back. When the topic of his profession came up,
عملية الرفع والهبد اللي قاعد يصير على هذا لا يمكن.
During a TV interview in Kuwait, the host asked whether wrestling was real or fake. Vader got angry, grabbed the host, and pushed him back in his seat on the spot. The host could barely get himself out of the way. Portia versus Kenya. Following Vader's outburst over wrestling being questioned, this next one shifts from the ring to reality TV. During the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion, things took a sharp turn when Kenya Moore called out Portia Williams over rumors about her relationship.
That's something that is a story that originated from media takeout. It's not a story.
As the argument got more heated, Kenya brought out a scepter and pointed it in Portia's face. Neither of them backed down, and it quickly turned into loud shouting.
What I will not do is have you talk over me, okay? So as I was saying...
It got worse when Portia fired back, accusing Kenya of playing the victim while picking fights with others. Then out of nowhere, Portia grabbed Kenya and dragged her to the floor. Staff members quickly stepped in to break it up. Zaza Aglatzi versus Irakli Glonti. And just like things got messy in reality TV, this next one proves that even politics can turn into a full-on brawl. In Georgia, a live TV debate took a wild turn when Zaza Aglatzi from the Industrialist Party suddenly threw a glass of water at his opponent, Irakli Glonti from the State for the People Party. Glante didn't stay quiet. He fired right back, and in seconds, both men were on their feet, throwing water and nearly going at each other. The host tried to jump in, but the scene was already out of control. Security had to step in as the cameras kept rolling. So these were 17 unforgettable moments where interviews turned into battlegrounds. Which incident had you the most shocked? Or did we miss a fight you think should have made the cut? Tell us in the comments, and thanks for watching. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to get mind-blowing incidents.